word Makoti to call our bride, our sister who is married by our Ochatwe ngubhuti wethu, and we say to her Makoti. Like,
What does that mean? Mak on steer?
make us tea in Afrikaans.
Oh, it's Afrikaans for
That's
make
where
us
the word
tea.
Makoti comes
How
from.
crazy
That's
is
what my
that?
mom told me.
This is the Hustler's Corner.
Blessed Monday, Sanbingelela, Bati Numsomlugo Namhlanje. Hustlers and squatters, brothers and sisters from all over the world. Not enough words, songs, or dance can adequately express her artistic talents. She has embraced with open arms her unsolicited gift from the gods. Her music and artistic excellence transcend the music itself and extend to the world unknown, touching even the souls of those not yet born. A lifelong dream to release her solo album with the blessings of those who walk beside her. Now she embarks on a musical journey where eagles dare. She's not a stranger to the stage. She has already graced stages all over the world, performing at concerts, festivals, abroad, locally, East and West Europe, Asia, Pacific, Oceania, North and South America. Everywhere, guys, all over the continent. I mean, she's done platforms such as Buhle Mda, Edinburgh Festival, Afro Vibes, Africa Now at the Apollo, White Nights in St. Petersburg, Baseline International Festival, is it Sakifo, not Sankofa, Bayimba Music Festival, Bushfire. Some of you guys would know Bushfire from, so you know Bushfire from
I
Swaziland?
love Bushfire.
Bushfire is a
Bro.
vibe.
Yeah.
Bro, and I'm glad that I know that when COVID happened, there was a bit of a break, but I mean, it's been long going. Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, International Jazz Festival, Grahamstown International Arts Festival. Jeez, I can go on and on and on and on, ladies and gents.
Sounds so old.
No, you don't. Just accomplished.
I'm just
Very well accomplished.
It's accomplishments. Sis Buhlebendalo.
Bhuti wami,
Thokoza,
ngase ngafika
kunjani,
ekhaya
sis
sanibona
wami?
Thokozani.
Siyabonga.
Thokozani madodana. Thank you, Bhuti. You're doing such a great job.
Siyabonga.
Ngiyabonga ukuba lana nami, Bhuti wami.
Little did I know, when I know my brother, Mr. Pedro, I think you guys have done some work in the past together.
So, just a brief history, and I'd like to welcome Buhle to be here. We're huge fans of your work, of your voice, of your beauty, of your spiritual awakening, and everything that you've done. A couple of years ago, my two kids, the ones that are in China, Nkunzmalanga no Africa, their uncle,
Beautiful names.
yeah, their uncle, Brian Ubonge, was asked to direct a music video. And he told me it was for The Soil, and I was like, I'm a huge fan, I want to be there. So he found a way to sneak my kids into being cast.
It's
So
such a cute video.
my daughter Africa's on the video of Ikorobela.
Oh, Ikorobela!
Yes.
Yes.
So I spent the day with them. I took a
Such
picture with her,
beautiful
Nu
children.
Untsiga. And I think I lied when I posted on Instagram saying I'm the latest member of The Soil. So I'm very happy to see you again, and I'm inspired by the work you've been doing. I saw the work you guys have been doing with Samkelo.
Yeah.
And it came full circle for me because I was introduced to The Soil by my brother in 2012, and I had them on repeat for an entire year. The fact that I got to meet them, the fact that I got to do a bit of work behind the scenes with them, I think for me was like a blessing. It was a sibusiso, so I'm happy.
Oh man, that's so beautiful. Oh, those children are beautiful. I'm pleased to know ubaba wabo.
Yes.
ukuthi uyena uwe. They are such beautiful children, and you can tell ukuthi they are born by artistry, like bazalelwe kwi-art, you know. And it was so free for them to be in that space, and it's such a cute video, you know.
Yes, it is.
We love the children. So touch as The Soil, and it was a beautiful space to share nabantwana, you know.
Thank you.
And now mina ngikwazela nje ngamampela la efonini yami ngithi lo futhi batshele, tell them.
Thank
I
you
love
so
your
much.
work, by the way.
Thank
I
you
love
so
your
much.
work, Bhuti, as well.
Siyabonga.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of how you also dress. I love your style.
Thokoza, Bhuti. It's a long journey in how I look, yabona. It's really hard to get into this industry as a girl who was Ekasi, you know, on a voice. You know, I came into this industry, and then I just stand there and sing. but apparently you have to look a certain way, especially if
Image.
especially if you are the rose amongst the thorns,
Yes, man.
Especially if you have the soil.
You can't be dressed like a soil girl, But it was such a beautiful. It's a beautiful journey even now, because ngi-evolvile kakhulu in terms of how I want to look. I was always unapologetic about how I look. I was never the girl that looks like all the other girls. I always wanted to stand out in my own way. But at the same time, I wanted to feel good and I wanted to be comfortable. That is why I started my brand with Cihoshe, because I understood which no one understands me when it comes to my fashion expression, or style rather, So I was always put in spaces that feel very uncomfortable for me. As you can see, I'm not a thin girl, I have a very peculiar look and I have a very particular body shape, and that body shape is me. I mean, I can't take it anywhere, I can't now say hi nyajima, but I'm okay with this body.
Yeah.
You must just work around it as a creative to make me look good, and I didn't find anyone who speaks the same language as me, so I decided ukuthi yazi ngiyazenzela impahla, like ngicela ukuthi ngizigqokise ngizovela ngikutshela ukuthi yenza kanje, and then I give a person money ngithi I give you money, you do what I want.
Yeah.
And that is why I look the way I look today. And I know there's a lot of women and girls that feel the same way that I feel, where you buy something at the store and then you feel how you're altarish, because it's either you have a size but like fanil, or we are tanda but on a size, so that is why I look the way that I look.
And tell us a little bit more about the Cihoshe.
Cihoshe was inspired by my late aunt Nombulelo. I think when I look at her, uNombulelo bekamshoza, bekuyipantsula le ntombazana, back in the day, bekulabo sisi laba abagcoka ama leather from head to toe, and then afaka ubucwebe, then afaka iberet, and then angena endaweni, Yeah, you understand, and then figure belt it, And I would always look at her and feel so inspired. And she had a beautiful body and a beautiful voice as well, And she would stand there and start singing with her siblings. And for me, that was my own Brenda Fassie, because I love Brenda Fassie. So for me, that was the closest thing to Brenda Fassie. And I wanted to pay homage to her and keep her legacy on. And I started making clothing from opposed to ileather ile yitulo ngahamba ngayothenga yona ngaqala ngayenza amabhruko ngayenza amaroko ngayo ileather,
Yeah.
And then it started evolving and to what it is now. Cihoshe isithakazelo sami.
Oh, that's a totem. Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to also keep igama lasekhaya alive, and build a legacy for my child as well, to understand where she comes from. Ukuthi I want igama lasekhaya to transcend even beyond the music, even beyond what I do. Even in the future, I see ngenza ne-furniture out of isithakazelo sasekhaya, to know ukuthi abantu bathi okay sharp ngithenge i-couch ye-Cihoshe, and for me I want to keep my family alive for generations to come.
That is very beautiful, Siswa.
Yeah, thank you
So
so
where do we
much.
find the clothing for people who are watching now, for them to go check it out? Where can they go check it out?
For now, I'm on Instagram. We're working on an online store, because it's into digital manje, We'll let you know, but I communicate with my people on the socials, and in interaction mina futhi, I deal with my clients 9 kanje nyaya kuwe, I take your measurements, and then we talk about your style, Into egcoke smooth doesn't mean izofanele uphenwele. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And yes, you could be inspired by smooth style, but now that's smooth style. So we sit down, sibe ne consultation nyana, where we talk about how you want to feel and how you want to express yourself, because even clothing is an art form. So then I build from you and your personality, and then I give you your garment, and then you look good. Even the logo says Cihoshe, feel good garments, So I just want people to feel good.
So we'll put the link in the description, guys. Click, it'll take you to that platform. Check out the clothes, whatever you like. Get in touch with them. And yeah, buy the clothes.
Thank you.
I don't like that you said, I'm not a thin girl, I've got a peculiar body, because it speaks to part of the issues we have as people. You know, when people started making products for black girls' hair, it was because someone had said, this is not yours. And I want us to celebrate, to what you're saying,
Yeah.
your unique style.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for making that type of clothing. I think it's very important. The other thing that I think is very important, we constantly wear other people's names. Europeans that we've never heard of. And you're saying, but this is me. This is my name. This is my family.
Can I quickly
So,
go back to
thank you.
that? Me saying I have a peculiar body does not mean I don't like my body.
Yes.
You know, and I'm trying to, it's okay to be fat. It's okay to be big, you know, and it's still okay to be thin as
Yeah.
well. You know, we're just celebrating the women that we are, women of all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
And that's what my brand represents, you know. I even said earlier off the record, I said, I'm even now designing for androgynous people, because there's so many people in the LGBTI space where they feel like they don't want to go to Macams, for instance, to get a proper fit for them. You know, they can come to me and say, this is how I want to look. But now there is no store out there that represents the person that I am. So me, I'm for all those people who are not represented by society, me included.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that very much. You speak about your aunt.
Yes.
She inspired the leather.
Yes.
You say she was your Brenda Fassie. Would you say that she inspired you as an artist? As
Kakhulu.
of-
Kakhulu. Unombulela, I looked up to her.
Oh, shame. You keep on speaking about her in the past tense.
Yes.
Has she passed?
She passed in, I think, 2006.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she passed. Nyabonga Putwam. She was just an amazing creative, but because abantu abadala esikhule phansi kwabo, they didn't have the platforms or the spaces where they can express themselves, and somewhat made to feel like uluyasisi locule emakhwayeni, you know, uluyasisi lo makunomgidi uyobekwa phambili.
Yes.
And that's where it ends.
Yes.
They didn't see past that.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nombulelo planted that seed in me, because we used to sing together as well, you know. She inspired a lot of my creativity, I should say. Yeah.
Where's home for you, and how has your upbringing shaped you as as a creative? I'm not speaking about your aunt now,
Yes.
but just where you come from, because in this industry, or the music industry at least, we hear a lot about amaXhosa and then maumzulu, example maskandi,
Yeah.
joyous. How has your upbringing, because you also mentioned a choir girl, how has your upbringing shaped who you've become as a creative and as a
Sure.
musician?
Ngikhulele endaweni eziningi, you know, and but whenever I'm asked where's home, ekhaya kusedobsendville, eRoodeport Road, eNdingilizi. Ngumntana seNdingilizi, inkaba yami seNdingilizi. Yeah.
Sure.
Inkaba yami seNdingilizi. That's home for me. That's where my parents met. Literally, Kabo Mamami, front opposite Kabo Babami.
Ah, kwa
right?
Kangwa.
Kakhulu.
Jola no Makelo.
You understand?
Ngazalwa
Ujole next. You know,
Kodwa that was long, when back in the
yes,
day.
yes.
Baba, Mujole.
Uyajole next.
You remember?
I
remember.
Yeah, I'm not to get confused, but so Dikulele Pai as well, you know, Cabo Mamam, Eastern Cape, which is known as Gqeberha now. Dikulele Adelaide, my mom's home as well, in Babak. You know, so I'm inspired by a lot of elements from all those places. But the root, Mumtana Ekasi. Mina ngithira Ekasi, and izinto ezenzakala elokishini yizo ezingenze ngaba lo muntu enguye today, you know. That is the very same way I met the gents as well from the soil. I met the soil gisaifa, you know, esikolweni siqeda ukoropa amaklasi
Benifunda kuphi?
besifunda Titelo Protea North.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Benifunda Titelo.
Yes, besifunda
Oh,
Titelo.
that's where the soil met.
Yes, that's where the soil met.
Including now Sam.
Yeah, best no Sam.
Okay.
Can I tell the story now?
Tell the story.
Sorry, yeah.
So being the girl that I am, I'm not a shy girl, you know. I'm a very outspoken, low key. Lamantombazana la uthi mawefika uthi yo nang. Oh, I ezodumo, you know. So we would do those ciphers, and I would always see myself as the Lauryn Hill of the group because I was always I was always the only girl in the midst, you know. So P is there, beatboxing, Samkelo, Mazige, Samkelo, and then Nuntiga Naye is this Ekasi rap kind of feel, and you know, but vocally as well, you know.
Shout out Suntiga. Great work with Drum Pope. Proud of you, Puti. Siyabonga.
You know, so ngibabone this one time ephasishini yasesikoleni, like before my steppies babhizi lapha boy-3, and I'm like, oh, but ngiyashota.
Of course.
Yeah, ngiyashota.
Oh, bebayi-3.
Bebayi-3. Yes, the soil was 3. Bekuphindo noNtsika no Sam. I remember walking up to them. I'm like, guys, yeah, ni dope my gents, but nishota yabo. Your female voice.
That Lauryn Hill.
And then some goes, I still namantombazana. And I'm like, no, but I'm not just tombazana. Like I'm the tombazana, you know?
Let them know.
You know, and it just came authentically. This is what I can bring to this setup, you know. And then we decided, good time, man, as meeting on my holidays, Gabonziga. Siplome Gabonziga nagabophike indlu esestradini sama-taxi.
Yeah.
So we would have like a mini audience vele
beautiful.
So I think that's what birthed the soil, where we saw ukuthi hayi man ingaspana la ile ngiyazi sibe nje yabo. So that's where the dream started. We saw ourselves in stages because of that. Labo baba base next door bebahlala laphayana ngamabhiya wabo sibaculela kube mnandi. So that's how it began.
So talking about ciphers.
Yes.
Many years ago, when I thought I'd be a musician and a rapper, I found myself at an open mic session at Wits, and Chama Boy comes on to sing there. I'd never met Sam. I'd never heard of him.
Yeah.
I think I rapped after him, but Samkelo came to perform, and I was inspired. The next time I'd see him would be on Late Night with Khomotso.
Yes.
Wearing backpacks with a group of other kids, Bekule a cappella. I was at UJ at the time, and I was mesmerized. Little did I know at that time, after seeing that clip, that 2012, my brother would be like, please listen to these guys, because we were choir boys.
Yeah.
My brother and I forever. And I've always loved singing. And so I've got my own cipher story, but I didn't collaborate. But I love how I'm going to keep saying that this thing has circled around, and I don't know where it's going to go, but angazi ngithini. Bengintshela nje ukuthi I met Sam. And,
That's beautiful.
I didn't know that you guys are going to be a big deal. I think if I'm going to ask a question.
Can you still rap though?
I was
let's
about
stop,
to put him on the
right
spot.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right
I
there.
wish I could
I'll do the
beatbox.
beatbox.
Oh yes.
So my question is, stop it.
Come on, Jordan.
No, I'll sing another day. Where does the name The Soil come from, and how do you guys move from Estradini to maybe All Late Night with Khomotso to becoming the group that we know today?
So ngizoyiqala emaphakathini ngiyemuva bese ngiyaphambili. That Late Night Khomotso video, that is when social media started. Like lento yokushare ama video kuma WhatsApp and what. That video is the video that put the soil out there.
You gotta be kidding me.
Good Late Night. Even today, masibona Khomotso City. When we bump into Khomotso City, you did that. You know? That video is the video that put the soil out there. Okay. So, sihlele emakoteni kaRobert lapha ngasetitelo yabo.
Mntana seKasi kaMampela.
Sihlele emakoteni sithenga amakota.
Sure.
I think this is when Ntsika was a grade ahead of us. Ne? Samkelo ahead of me and P, and then Samkelo was a grade behind us. Fine. So ngino Pindo. If ama details were right, ngino Pindo. Sifone no Samkelo, sifone la Ntsika to say, hi man, sithola igama uNtsika bafonela thina bathi hayi mina bafethu yamazi uNtsika is very creative Magents hayi ngithola igama Magents yo igama le group mantwana is i-particles of the soil yabo
Particles of the
particles
soil.
of the soil
Yeah.
you know because we were exposed to a lot of poets and izinto zethu ama-show wethu besiwaholder in poetry sessions. That is why you bumped into him at Verts.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do. Gate crash, a poetry session or gate crash, whatever.
Do your
sithi,
thing.
bah, yabo?
Yeah.
And then someone said, why be particles of the soil if you can be the actual soil? Right? And then later, at a later stage, sesiqala ukuba deep manje, sesiqala ukukhula, we realized ukuthi as soil, the soil, as matter, the soil is raw and our music is raw. And akukho la ongaya khona emhlabeni ongeke uthole inhlabathi. That is what we wanted to achieve with our music, spread it across earth in general. So we stuck with the soil.
What happens after Khomoto and you guys start going berserk? The bookings.
What happened after Khumuto? There was a show in Soweto. I was not there, I remember. Mzwakhe Mbuli.
How do you guys meet Bob Sipho's Tall?
I'm coming there.
Oh, okay.
Mzwakhe Mbuli invited the soil to an event that celebrated a cappella and African music.
So Bob Zakombulu was one of the early guys
Yes.
to actually
So Mzwakhe
recognize
comes
your talent.
after. Yeah, Mzwakhe comes after Khomoto. Right? Go to that show. The gents went to that show. They sang there. Sipho's Tole was there.
Oh.
Right? But that's not where Sipho's Tole was like, hi. Then the guys were studying at Valtech. I-Valtech yabasponsora ukuthi guys, nansi imali. Hambani yenze show at Grahamstown Arts Festival. Right? And then the gents went. I remember I was heavily pregnant when they went to Graham. I'm like, whoa, hey guys, cabanga stage hambani, yabona? And I said it was during the time I was like, I'm tired. I just want to stay home. And then the gents went. I even remember what I was wearing because I went out the house and I ran. Estratini memesa. The gents got an interview with Karabo Khuleng interviewing the soil because they were making waves at Grahamstown. Karabo Khuleng interviewed the soil. Sipho's Tole calls live on air and offers the soil a recording deal.
How in the interview happens in Grahamstown?
Yes.
How did Bob Sipho's Tall hear an interview in Grahamstown?
It was on SAFM.
Oh, it was on SA.
With Karabo Khuleng.
Okay.
Live on air. Sipho's Tole calls in, says, "Hi guys, dala ngifuna labantwana ngibabone guphi. So I want to give them a recording deal." I remember I was wearing an orange, yellow, and brown dress. I went out the house and I ran. Yes, Tole That was the start of the soil.
Wow.
Native rhythms.
Native rhythms. I remember we went into studio. My child was 12 days old when we went to studio.
Wow.
So the soil is as old as my daughter.
Yeah, as I'm seeing her now.
Yeah.
I always say Mofa is as old as my daughter.
Yes.
Things, must-
Relate. Yes. So when I look at my child, I see with yo Dala Sigule industry. This is how tall we are. Yes. So yeah, that's how it began.
No, thank you. The Grahamstown Festival performance you speak about is the one where they're wearing white shirts.
Yes.
Because I've seen that
Yes.
as well. That's also trended and it keeps coming up on
Yes.
social media.
Social media is such a beautiful and powerful tool, because that is how we actually also manage to reach people outside of the country as well because of social media. It takes that one video, someone to just share it, and they share it, and then it goes wild.
Let's backtrack again and
Yes.
rewind. What have you, and I'm sure you probably might have heard some voices that might have said to you guys, but akuna pity la, lento yena ngeke iyendawo.
No instrumentals.
Yes, I have a story for everything. So I went to
story
studio,
for
I ran back.
Okay.
I remember, yes, guys, the story of this. I think we should do a documentary.
You have
You
to.
must. You must.
This was all a dream, and we didn't know that we want to be famous. That's one point. the plan was not to be famous. The plan was to make sure that everyone knows that there's this kind of sound. There are these kids abaphume Soweto who can actually create a song out of nothing. We wanted to inspire our peers as well, you know. So we went to a lot of places where we tried to get this music out. I remember we went to the studio in Randburg, and then some guy was like, he said my voice is not nice.
How?
You know? I was like, no, my sister, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then wafake auto-tune. Wafake auto-tune.
T-Pain.
Hey, yeah, wangitipena. Ngazwa ngathi yo ngimosquito enye so. I was like, but that's not how I sound, and that's not how we want to sound, you know. Hey, sagcina sesingasatholani kahle, and we left. And then we were told, this is not gonna go anywhere. No one does this. You know, this is not gonna sell. And back then, we don't want to sell. We just want we just want this music to be out there. You know, we just want to make music. What's this selling thing you're talking about?
Yeah.
You know, even when we got to bigger spaces in the industry and seeing bigger people that we look up to, and they're like, bafethu usifake nje. I was like, no, sifuna njalo izosebenza. And Usipho Sithole from Native Rhythms believed in that. And I think
He also did not try and convince you guys.
no.
Man, makufakwe
He wanted us the way we were. Wathi nifuna ninjalo. And I feel respect to him. I feel like it takes that one person who actually believes in your dream ukuthi uhambe. And then masohambile, labo bantu labo bebathi hi in then they're gonna come and say, yeah, no, I saw ukuthi. I'm like, no. Let's keep it there. Thanks. You know, so we appreciate the heart and the vision, because I feel like Cihoshe is a visionary. We appreciate the vision that he had, a vision that mhlampe nathi we didn't have, but because he's also a creative, he could see it.
Yeah.
3 gents, 1 amazing sister. I once interviewed Usam at Massive Metro.
Yes.
He tells me the story. He did not get into the actual story, but it did explain to me on that interview ukuthi the reason why he did not it did not happen for him to continue with you guys was his own demons.
Yeah.
And he was saying to me he was taking accountability of some of the things that he was involved in outside of the music, Ekasi.
Yeah.
Which are some of the things that sort of held him back to end up becoming to continue being a part of the group and fly with you guys all over the world. From you, what is your take? What happened? Because at some point he wasn't there anymore. This is before he came back as a successful solo artist.
Yeah, I appreciate the person that Samkelo is. I think I appreciate Samkelo more now because I think he allowed himself to grow into himself, right? And I think the amount of time, yazi puti separation ukuphi isikhathi ukuthi wenze introspection sharp with self and realize ukuthi what were my flaws, or how did I cause this disruption, or how did I break this wall, what was my contribution, you know. And I feel like the space that Samkelo is in now is a space where we are all us. Last corner sibona ukuthi actually nami ngipayizile makufika so. But we were young, and I feel like masengibheka manje sengimdala, we were all scared, and ama fears wethu bewangafani, you know. And I feel like Samkelo was trying to protect himself, which was a good thing for him, right? What happened was that he realized things that we couldn't see. Bekungathi uyaboniswa, you know. Uguti, this is where this thing is gonna go, because we all have different visions of where we want to see ourselves, and his vision yamhlupha ifana nedlozi ukuthi imthukuthezele la ntshisakalo ba get out, because this is what's gonna happen. Thina besingayiboni, and nomhlaba wonke, sorry Puti, nomhlaba wonke ungayiboni. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ibona nguye yedwa. You know, and now that I'm older, I appreciate that he didn't ignore that, because it gave us all the time to sit with ourselves and see where we want to see ourselves as individuals, as a group. And I feel like Samkelo bekanenhlakanipho engaphezu kwakhe before time. You know? And wayimamela la voice ibimthukuthezela.
Did he come to the group and say, guys, for these reasons, I'm leaving the
Oh,
group? Or
he
what happened?
dumped me in an SMS.
What happened?
I remember I was attending a funeral in Kimberley.
Yeah.
And I received an SMS. Buhle, I'm leaving the soil. I don't want to explain.
You thought he was joking.
I was like, hey, when
Azange nilwe, nothing.
Nothing.
From nowhere.
Buhle, I'm
nje.
leaving. It's like someone saying, Sengzwile and your twas. Like Samkelo left ngati your twas.
True.
Samkelo left ngati there's a higher force that was taking him out. And the person that he is, Magase decided, Samkelo is an Aquarian. Magase decided, decided.
So mans.
You understand? I received this SMS. I'm like, no, I don't know what's happening. And then I'm calling the gents, what's happening? It's like, yo, yeah, no, that's what's happening.
Now you
That's
got
what's
two men
popping.
left, Amachi.
I feel like they were together. They were together, bona.
Oh, okay.
But because now as a way, I received that SMS. I promise you, Samkelo didn't afford me the explanation all those years.
Oh, shit.
All those years I stayed sad, you know. I stayed resentful and felt betrayed and felt dumped, really, you know. But as I grew older, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, this is what you were seeing, but you couldn't articulate. And there were no words where you could articulate it. Ushuguti, okay, 1, 2, 3. Because we were young and we were consumed by all this noise that comes with being in the music industry. And now, yeah. So, but I appreciate the move because the move made him grow yedwa and get his shine yedwa. And then whenever he needs to branch out into whatever, he is free to do so. And it's beautiful how that full circle came after 12 years of being apart. It was like
12 years?
poetry. It was like poetry. I don't know how many times I cried. Like I cried real tears. Like the way it happened, it was something so godly. It could never be orchestrated by umuntu. It be beyond Tina. I'm even having goosebumps now. It was beyond us, and the way it happened, it was not even planned. It happened so beautifully. And
Two more. Sorry,
yes,
continue.
no,
finish
that's
up.
fine. That's fine.
I just want to ask 2 quick ones before I hand it back to Pen. The first one is when you guys then started blowing up in his absence and started going all over the world. Now, this is not just in South Africa. When overseas trips are happening, now
Yeah.
you're doing all these big festivals
Yeah.
all over the world. Your thoughts in terms of missing him? Were you guys in touch with him, speaking to him? What was going through you guys? You know, in his absence, what would you guys say about him? Or how did you guys feel about all of that experience and that beautiful stuff in his absence? Somebody that you guys felt he deserved to be with you guys, number one. And out of his own decisions, he wasn't there. It's not like you guys had cautioned him. Number 2, or it's not even like cases of where, you know how record companies are, where we'll give you guys a deal
As long as
you know,
Engekho lona.
or
Why are you
something.
making me emotional now? Hey, stop
No,
it.
I'm taken back to the feeling that I had all those years.
And I want you to take me then. Then quickly,
Yeah.
the second question would be, did you guys know when he was about to make the comeback as a solo artist and blowing up? Or how did you guys feel when that happened? Let's start with the first one.
Yeah, I miss Samkelo so much. Yo, I missed him so much. And you know, you when you're in a group, you have different relationships with different people. And I have very strange relationships with the 3 of them, you know. But which noma yiphi relationship enginayo has its own energy, you know, and I miss Samkelo so much, and I wanted that for him. I wanted the travel, the feeling of being out there. But something in me was like, there's bigger plans for Samkelo. Only he knows them. NoNkulunkulu wakhe, namadlozi akhe. There's a bigger call for him. Going to the next question. Samkelo is amazing. Samkelo is an amazing creative. I always knew that Samkelo is gonna be big, with or without us.
Are you serious?
Yes, yes. Samkelo is thank you. Samkelo is an amazing producer. Samkelo makes a song out of nothing. Samkelo is a creative with or without the soil. And I knew that will happen for him. But what gave me ipain enhliziyweni was, is he happy where he is? And is he happy with his decision? And is his decision working for him? And I feel like naye he had those questions. Ngathi, are you guys happy? And is it working out for you? Yes, you can travel and whatever, but is it working out for you? And the recent conversations we've been having, he's so different now. I appreciate him more now. We are able to.
I love him
He's
so
light
much. I
now.
love
He's
him so
soft.
much.
I think Sokele is cut because look at pussy stay soft.
Bengasho ukuthi nakasisentwana bekayikhuzu.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
actually said that's one of the reasons. The strati besimdonsa. You know, like American rappers.
Yeah.
Where you're so good at, you're not even aware how good you are in this thing.
Yeah.
But the streets keep calling you to the streets. And that's
Yeah.
what he said. Which, you know, clever, business strati.
I think I've heard
you know?
that.
And he was young, I guess.
You know what? Bebambiza nesikole bebambiza Steve Biko. Yeah, he didn't care if he stood alone against everyone else.
Yeah,
as
but-
long
but
as
I into
as long as yena athe angiyenzi that thing and angengforced ukuthi he's like that now, but now he I think he's tapped into humaning with other humans, you know,
Yeah.
being able to receive a different opinion and be okay with it and have those conversations. It's okay, we differ in opinion, but that doesn't mean which we're not friends, you know. And I appreciate him more now because he listens to me. I think that's what I like. He sees me, Samkelo, now. And I think it's because also he's a father to a girl child. So he's softer, you know, he's softer and he's more, yeah, he receives you when you need him. Yeah.
I was annoyed that you were getting me emotional because we create emotional bonds with certain groups and certain people. And I tried to give a short backstory, and obviously we're here for you. So I couldn't go and be a groupie for 30 minutes. I was speaking about the soil, but
Yeah.
you guys have been a soundtrack of parts of my life. And a lot of us on the outside that had, like I said, at Metu Samkelo, I saw you guys on Late Night with Khomoto. So when the album came out and we saw the three of you without him, and I could hear when I was listening, I can hear Samkelo's voice.
Yeah.
And all I wanted was answers.
Yeah.
Jobush would have been damned. Nati on the outside, we're like, something's not making sense here.
Bekuthiwa simxothile. You
Yes.
know, it's like, yeah, nimxoshile uSamkelo futhi and you don't even sound nice. Hey, bekukubi, bruh.
I'm
Like,
sure Ntsika got a lot. Because
Yeah.
he would have to sing some of his parts.
Yeah.
When you listen to the first album
yeah,
and some of the parts where Samkelo is singing, you hear Ntsika is singing those parts. And
yeah,
for us who had an emotional vested interest from outside, we were annoyed. And you start thinking, when you speak of bands, that they get rid of one guy because it must be a Mafigizolo, two guys and one lady, it must be a Malaika. It doesn't work. Like you start thinking of all these things of what could have happened.
yeah.
Was it an ego thing? Because Mhlampe, he's the lead singer. He was like, I don't want this deal or whatever. And you guys are like, hey, Tina, we're happy, Dr. Stole. He's like, no, I want to be my own. So a lot of us had these ideas and we didn't know. And to what you're saying now, the reason I'm getting emotional is because of that. When you watch Dave Chappelle's Block Party, there's a point where Wyclef and Pras they are seeing Lauryn Hill for the first time in years with everyone else. They haven't seen her. Because we forget that everyone has their own life.
Yes.
And their own struggles. And Upraz is explaining that, like, we've always loved Lauren. And when she left, we were confused. And seeing her now, like, the goosebumps. And when she started singing, you know, and a lot of things can't be explained. And I'm so touched by the fact that you understand now.
Yeah.
And it's not Sam, it's you. It's everyone understanding that everyone has their own journey.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing.
But then I saw him in another band on Espresso or
The
something.
fridge.
And I'm like, what's
I used to
happening?
like the fridge. The fridge yani. In the fridge Yo, I was such a girl about it. Yes.
Bro, that's ours. What is he doing with the fridge? He's the soil. Why about Banda, man?
And you're right about it. Could only have been godly because we don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We don't know what could have happened if he went to the streets. We don't know what was going on through him seeing ikru yakhe go and become so amazing in the world. I'm even starting to think the fact that you said he was a grade below you.
Yes.
If there was even that disconnect of Apela, these were my senior, like I don't know. And I'm so happy that you guys have found each other. I cried. It's my little gay moment. I cried when I
we
saw the
love
video.
gay moments.
When I saw you guys performing together this year.
Oh, that was
Because
beautiful.
that's the full circle moment. Not for you guys and your journey, but for us. I'm a nobody on the outside who have become emotionally invested in you guys. The stories that have trended in the media with you and some of your personal things, we read them.
Yeah.
And we think of them. And when we see you, thanks for the music, but we think about these things. So when you speak about your daughter and we meet her, we've been there, but you won't know it.
I get it. I get it fully. You know,
And let me also add
yes.
that I asked him the question of how he felt when you guys were thriving,
Yeah.
especially with the global success.
Yeah.
Without him, was he jealous? Was he regretting? Was he the one thing that he said to me in that interview at Massive Metro was he was proud of you guys. He was so happy for you. And the answer that he gave was not so much about him. It was just how proud he was about you guys.
Yeah.
And how in his own mind and just himself what
Yeah.
You know, I was like, wow.
That's what the people don't see. And that's what society doesn't recognize, because we are so surrounded with negativity emhlabeni, because I think it's because of the less we think of ourselves as a society, you know. And then now we start spreading it to other children. It's the way we celebrate. I remember Samkelo performed at the Dome. I was there screaming for him. I was there by the general screaming for him, you know, because I celebrate him, because I know he deserves that, you know. And now society comes in, and because it has its own intentions and says, yeah, no, but yeah, he's fine, but he should have just stayed with the soil. But that's not for you to say.
Yeah.
Because you don't know our different journeys. And I feel like Samkelo had to leave the soil to be the person that he was born to be.
Yeah.
You know?
How have you guys managed to stay together? When I think a cappella, I think Boys to Men, and how they've lost it forever. 12 years, maybe to another person might not seem long, but to people that
Very
understand, it's a couple of lifetimes, because in the music industry, you lost for one season
Yeah.
and you're gone. And worse when you have different personalities with different lives. How have you guys managed to stay together and continue to stay together?
By keeping away from each other. Asispane, hambuye kwakho. Hambenye kwami. I think it's knowing that the gift is beyond us. I mean, there were so many times I felt like I'm not saying right, Bafana guys, because men are a lot, you know, like men are a lot.
No, we're not.
You know, but the call is bigger, is louder than what we want Tina as physical beings, you know. And I think that's how we managed to stay together. Yeah. Ndimde okanye ndimfutshane okanye ndim.
Umfutshane too much.
Nyan, I think ndanele ngoku the soil. Okay. Also,
The follow-up question obviously is, at some point normally in the music industry, everyone wants to go solo. Especially now if you see a Sam, you're like, hey, you know, I also wouldn't mind. Or maybe even from the record label, they might suggest. How does that conversation go? Is it something that happens organically? Is it planned? Is it I don't know. Like,
I think
wanting to do your own thing. Because yes, you do get tired and people do have their own lives
Yeah.
and their own vision.
Especially as we grow, because we are
Especially
building
as we
families,
grow.
right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of things with the soil happen on their own, you know, and we just get the decency to just discuss it. It's okay. This is what for instance, me going to Ep31, it's not something that I planned, but it's something that had to happen. Just like our solo projects. Bekuyiphetlo lethu. Just like Samkelo leaving us, bekuyiphetlo lakhe, you know, and sikhona isikhathi where you are forced to do that as an individual, you know, and not resulting from ukathala. Dala sebenza sonke, oh okay, asithathe break. No. It's the call yakho as an individual to spread your wings individually. Because sobatatu, I'm sure you understand, which we have 3 different sounds that need to be heard separately and respectively. So even for me, branching out to do a solo, Unsiga did his solo album first, you know. But for me as well, it's something that I always wanted to exercise. But I'm a fears of the unknown, like, I'm not too sure if it's gonna be received.
Yeah.
Phela manje, now you feel like you have to match up the soil standard.
And you have to.
You know? And
Thina
like,
ngaphandle
I remember even when I received my songs, I'm like, no one is gonna listen to this darkness. Like, I'm so dark. I'm so sad. I'm crying in these songs. Ki Adele. Like Ki Adele.
But don't they say musicians deliver their best
Yes.
work when they're going through the most?
Yes. So I feel like most things with the soil ziyazenzakalela organically, just like the soil is. And when they do, physically, we just sit down with, okay, nansi into, nalubizo olunye, ekumele silphakamele. Bese siyadiscussa siyavumelana ukuthi fly queen, fly king, asenze njalo. So yeah.
I love the fact that you guys have an open communication, because that's what it seems like. I don't know if you're at liberty to speak about going to Ep31, number 1, and number 2, because I can feel and see that you're vibrating on a different frequency, probably from when upapa is the impact that's had on the other band members.
Dalangkula putine. Dalangkula
Physically.
spiritually.
Okay.
Because mawugula spiritually mase sebantwini ibonakala ngathi physical, but
Yeah.
not really physical, yabo. I noticed that I'm different at the age of 14. I was in high school with these guys
The boys.
that see me every day. Like futhi idlozi lami ke ileli elithanda amehlo. La ngisebantwini khona liyavuka. Bagcwalisele ntwana. You know, and it's not something new. It was not something new to them to discuss, to say. I just said, guys, you know, and I know this is gonna be an inconvenience for you, but you know, and I don't think it's something that needed that long of a discussion, but it needed a plan going forward. Okay. And I wanted to do it the way. I didn't want to touch and go 3 months in, 3 months out. I wanted to lahla yonke into, ndivume ukufa kwami, authentically, without any distraction. I have to go sing, go bushfire or what. No, I wanted a clean trip, you know, a clean walk to abantu abadala, you know. And it wasn't something that was supposed to be discussed but it was supposed to be let known ukuthi sekunjalo and let's make a plan. That's when Theo came into the space and she did a great job. Yeah.
How has the influence been on the band members of this journey you went on and then coming back?
What kind of influence are you talking about?
You speak about understanding that everyone has their own journey, their own calling, their all, and it sounds to me like, as someone who is vibrating at a different frequency, have the guys gone through similar journeys, or has it been an influence from you, or is it something you guys have always had? Even their
I
understanding that you had to leave.
I think we journey as we walk. It's just how you perceive it as an individual. Ukuthi le journey le, is it just nje a journey, or is it a journey of a different sphere, you know? And I feel like sithwasa sihamba kuya ngomuntu loyo ukuthi uyireceive kanjani leyo ntwaso ekuyena. It's like realize ukuthi you're lactose intolerant. I realized ukuthi I'm lactose intolerant, but not really. Yidlozi, you know. So into ezinjalo mina ngizothi a different person will say eshangisalidla ibisi yazi, because no, uyathwasa, but you're not aware. It takes you to an understanding ukuthi no man, ni different. Just like uBhuti, when he came out hugging trees, sambona ngathi uyahlanya ukuthi hayibo wenzani? No ngisentwasweni yokuthi ngifike kwelinqanaba endibekelwe lona phezulu, and I feel like each of us have it, but kuya ngokuthi sibona kanjani mase sihleli sodwa. So this is why also sibona ngathi sekunezangoma eziningi eSouth Africa. You know, it's because we have a different calling, but these days sekuyi fashion ukuba isangoma. Sinini uyabhodla kabantu uthi amele ngiyothwasa. Hayi ngiyothwasa, you know. But no, maybe there's a message that is flying to you. You just need to be in a different space to receive it, you know. Even COVID bekuyintwaso yethu. That silent, I don't know how many months, I lost count. Their lockdown situation bekuyintwaso yethu, guys, but kuya ngokuthi ubani ureceive kanjani.
You speak about some of the work that you started delivering on your own as a solo artist, and also that nervousness as an artist. Is it going to work now that I'm alone? How are people going to receive this music? And the growth, or let me say, the difference between Ekasi, made deeply rooted, and what you are going to offer us moving forward from now, because I know those projects happened around the lockdown.
Okay. I'm laughing a little deeply rooted because angiyazi mina ngazi Cihoshe, but those are the things that happen when you are signed. Ubone sekune project eyenziwe but awazi ukuthi yenziwe njani. But that's a story for another day. Ekasi is my project, my one and only project, right? Ekasi was birthed uma ngiye entwasweni, right? I was privileged to twasa by myself. I was the only twasa esigodlweni la bengithwasa khona. And I met God, butwami, ngendlela esimangaliso. And I met myself because as we journey in life, there are so many things that make us doubt ourselves as individuals and think, ukuthi, I am not meant for this space. Everyone is doing a podcast. Who's gonna listen to my podcast? You know? So all those demons visited me, you know, during entwasweni, and all I had was myself. That is when I started conceptualizing on this album. I promise you, that is the only time I started writing consciously, where I give myself space with nyabala manje. Yimina nyabala. Because I'm in a space where I am faced with all my demons. I am faced with my fears, my insecurities, and I'm faced with my wars. Engakaze ngathola isikhathi ukuthi ngizithackle on a normal day. So that is where Cihoshe was born. This first song I wrote was Nethisa. If you have it, please listen to it. Nethisa, it was bekunetha but I felt alone and I felt like I can't do it anymore. Because intwaso nayo inama toxicity wayo. You know, abantu abasithwasisayo ba toxic but leyo nje iqiniso engifuna ukulisho. Ogobela ba toxic.
And ushilo sisimpo abadimo, I think we interviewed on
Abogobela ba toxic but wami. Intwaso is not for the faint-hearted. Ogobela bane superiority complex engazi ukuthi bayithatha kuphi. But now when you go there, you feel like that's part of the initiation. Even the word initiation for me, angilithandi mina lelo gama, because it comes with a lot of abuse inside, right? So I wrote Nethisa. It was a rainy day. I wanted to go home. I called my mom. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I want to leave, you know? And my mom reminded me of the concept of imvuma kufa, because that's a ritual you do before you go into initiation. Katika loko ukuvuma ukufa is what is happening to you now. Uvumile, uyafa now. Allow this death to happen so you can rise again. Right? Yifa buhle. Yifa because uvumile ukufa. And this is not a literal kufa, but it's the amount of falls you're going to endure. That is intwaso. So stay in it, take it, and create from it. I remember I was in my white clay. I stood in the rain. It rained on me. I stood there crying. The words I only had were, "Abufika ubumnyama, vuselela amathemba ami," because I felt like I was in the dark. And then I wrote from there. And then after that, just a lot of songs came to me. Because I was exposed to a lot of grief that I feel like I closed it in for such a long time. And women inspire me, so there were a lot of women's stories also that couldn't bengakwazi uthula ngawo. So that is the inspiration behind Cihoshe.
My last two questions
Tell us.
before I hand it over back to Buhlebendalo. Excuse me. With intwaso having happened and where you are now, you went through the process.
Yeah.
How does the you now feel? How do you feel? Number two, moving forward, since you've been initiated uthwasile, what does that mean for us, your fans? Does that mean we should expect you to? Are you going to be a healer now? What are you going to be doing? What does that mean for your life and for us, your fans?
Ngiphume intwaso in 2016. The way I felt before ngiya entwasweni is that I always need to be a beautiful picture for the girls that are looking up to me. I always wanted to set be presentable and be a role model. The pressures that come with being in this industry, you have to look a certain way. You have to be perfect. You have to represent yourself, and you abantwana bakubhekile type thing, But when I came out in entwasweni 2016, can I swear here?
Yeah, no, you can. Sure, please. You can.
I'm fucking unapologetic about fucking
okay.
Everything in my life.
Yes.
You take me as I am, or you fuck off. Really, Into engiyifundile ephehlweni and how I feel now is that Mkhulu bhuti ndinamandla ndiyinkosi emakhosini and ubukhulu bam abusoze bunciphiswe izinto nabantu basemhlabeni and ubukhulu bam angibutholanga kugobela kudala nginabo ubukhulu bam just needed ukuphehlwa. That is the explanation yokuphehlwa wenza so uyaphehla
You
you ignite ngesilungu, yes, so it just needed to be ignited and leyo ignition leyo ayiphethwanga umuntu, right? Le ignition leyo ikwaphethwe ngamakhosi that trusted lo muntu ukuthi anikeze ancede mina ukuthi ngwaphehle. So that is what we need to understand ukuthi abogobela abaphethanga ubukhosi bethu sinabo. It's just that bufuna ukunecharwa buphehlwe kahle buvuke ngaphakathi kuthina so that we are able to spread it out into the people. I'm a healer, but I was a healer before ngephehlweni. I heal through my voice. My voice is healing. I didn't need to go to a phehlweni to realize that I'm a healer. And I don't need to go to a phehlweni and get out a phehlweni for people to acknowledge that I'm a healer. Right? And I don't heal, I'm not a healer to angisile sangoma lesi esihamba sisho ukuthi isangoma. I'm sorry to the gog what's of Instagram. I'm so sorry. But angisu gog Buhlebendalo, angisu gog Buhle, gog what. What I'm trying to say, I don't have to advertise a healing space yam. But loyo ovulekile to receive it will receive it. Noma kanjani.
I get you.
Right? Be it endumbeni yami, be it with my music, be it when I'm crazy on Cisgate, on my platform, wherever, be it at home when I cook for you, you will receive my healing.
You're shy board.
Please ask my friends. Like I don't wanna say that. Just ask my friends, okay?
Sure.
Anyway, like now I sing with the knowing of ukuthi ngiyafa futhi ndivuma ukufa all over again. Every time I go on stage ngiyafa futhi ngifela laba abadinga ukuphola within the audience. That's how I heal. And I promise you, this is not even me being boastful. You will never leave my show the same way you came in. Unamang. Because everyone that comes to my show is someone that is open to the healing that they don't even think they have. Right? Even me, when I walk onto that, if I rehearsal yam put ngizo rehearsa set long in neband yam mangifika stage different. I always fight with my band. I'm so sorry. I know we didn't do this, but you know. Yeah. So it's impiliso yam kudala yakhona. And I remember this because I was that child that liked dancing for Abu Mama Bazegui kitchen party. And I was always this vibrant child. That's where it started. But as ndikula iyahluma, right? And then ke ngoku I'm at a space where I understand. Ukuye phehlweni uyela ukuthi understand ukuthi konke lokho okula ngikspreada kanjani. That is why before uye phehlweni mose bantwini fainta. But now masophume phehlweni uba sebantwini, but you know how to control lokho kufaint. Uyafainta mara phakathi uyafa. So now whenever I don't want even want to call them fans. I don't like calling people fans.
Same here.
Abantu abathanda umculo wami, abantu abalandela umculo wami, abantu. Hey, one gogo came to my show, wathi kimi, hey Buhle, do you understand ukuthi wonke lo muntu la ithwasane lakho? I'm like, hey, angifuni mathwasane mina, ngifuni stress. Athi no, ngizwe. Uyathwasisa. Each and every show. Labantu obazwayo babhodla bathini bahlanya bethini uyathwasisa. This is your process of playing as a gobela, but wena ubekele ukuthi uyenze musically that thing. And it's not everyone that's going to come to your show. And I've noticed that, and I've become okay with that. It's not everyone that will buy my music, because it's not meant for everyone. It's meant for a certain group of people that are in a space of wanting or yearning for some sort of spiritual healing. Siyaphola sonke, but in order ukuthi siphole mele sife.
I once heard this term ubungoma and sangoma. The fact that it has ungoma in it has to do with
People
music,
of song.
and we've lost it. And while I'm listening to you, two things are coming up. The first one being that I think certain record labels have forgotten that they are meant to be platforms for expression. They're not meant to come and tell you, this is
Yes.
how you must dress, this is how you
Yes.
must look. They're meant to be like, this is who you are. We're just here to help you amplify
Thokoza.
who you are and what message you're meant to send out. When I think of all the musicians, and look, one of the things I liked about you and also Sis Thandiso was you sounded like little boys.
I loved her.
And those are sometimes the most beautiful female voices. You guys embraced your calling.
Thokoza.
You embraced that my voice is an instrument to heal, to inspire, to change.
Thokoza.
And it's making me wonder if people like Abo Whitney Houston, Abo Amy Winehouse, they were being called to
Yeah.
go on a journey and they never did. And that's why they ended up.
Oh, they did. They did. They did go into a journey. But ke journey yabo iqhawukile. Because the music that they've been feeding us, yiyo healing bekumele sithole kubona. And then yaqhawuka. Bekumele iqhawuke. But they died physically bona. They didn't abavumanga ukufa. That's why they died physically.
They were meant to open themselves up. And they were probably
Yes.
struggling with that calling. And that's why they ended
Exactly.
up having to take things that they took.
Exactly.
I don't know if you had liberty to speak about it, but I saw you brush aside, deeply rooted. And at some point, you had a brief mentioning of Umzwakhe Mbuli. I don't know if there's any stories there or if we must swiftly move along.
Let's move on. Let's not make we are surrounded by such negativity, and we make it siyiphi space, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
What do you think black artists, but in particular black female musicians, are missing? And what do you think black girls, black African girls are missing in the journey you took on? And it's so beautiful to hear that your mom was even supporting you, even when you were feeling like, aye. She's like, and you're paying homage to your aunt as well, who inspired you.
Yeah.
What do you think a lot of our black females, because you're half shaded Abanbe Instagram, what do you think black females are missing, and especially the black females who clearly have an instrument of healing and change, but maybe haven't figured out that I'm actually an instrument?
Women are missing nothing. It's the people we live with that don't get us. We are missing nothing. We are just not given the opportunity to be ourselves in male-dominated spaces. We are, if we take it there, we are missing the freedom of expression as women because we stay with men in this country, where they feel good. Us expressing ourselves is a crime to them, or is an offense to them. That's what we are missing. We are missing to be free as women. Because if we would stay as just women, we would miss nothing. So we don't miss anything. We just don't have the platforms to be fully ourselves as women, no matter what we are. I like Zoto Abantu. I love Zoto Abantu. I love Moonchild. But this world, this society makes Zoto Abantu feel like she's doing wrong. Makes Zoto Abantu feel like this is not a thing you would do here. I was listening to Moonchild's interview in some radio station, and I love that radio station. And I know when they have a guest on that day, they speak for like an hour. Moonchild spoke for 15 minutes because the content was too hot for that station. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's what we're missing. Do you want me to mention it? I even called her. I was like, Mooney, you're burning them, girl. That's what we're missing, Puti. We are missing to be given a space where we can express ourselves as loud as we want to be. We always feel like we need to protect the men in our spaces. We always feel like we need to protect society. No, a mother can't do this. Oh no, a mother melas patekanje. The systems that were created for women is making women feel like they are less of what they are. So we're not missing anything.
But the challenge then seems to me like, because when you started speaking, I already started thinking, where are the female-owned record labels? Where are the female platforms? It's beautiful that we have female clothing makers, as an example. Just this morning, I was jogging.
Yeah.
And at some point, I took off my top. And I've had this feeling that, why can I be topless?
Yes.
But a woman can't. And when are we
Yes.
going to change that? And we know in Africa, even to this day, women can be topless and it is not sexualized. And
Yes.
it's not. So you're saying women are not given the platform. And I guess the challenge for me to you and other women is, when are you guys going to create those platforms?
I'm part of the queer community. And my partner and I opened like a podcast / conversations that stand for women and queer people.
What is the platform called?
Bees on the Couch.
Please send us a link so we can put it in the description so people can click and go check it out.
Thank you. We are Bees on the Couch, and we have conversations every first Wednesday of the month where we speak about anything and everything. But it is queer-led, it is woman-led, and we are proud to say we are gatekeepers for women. The problem is that we women don't feel like we can be gatekeepers for ourselves, and men can do that nicely. The typical example is like uzomfihlela uSkhoko maybe it's pro code.
Yes, pro code.
But thina sinayo sis code, you know? Into ezinjalo, like a typical example, asinayo into ezinjalo because we the system has put this thing in our head which you can't stretch that far. You can't do that. Toba zithobe sisi ngumuntu wesifazane, you know? So I think that is why manje sesisespacing where nathi iqiniso lethu lelo. You know, it's because ithungelwe ezingqondweni zethu to a point where asisayazi nyani yethu. And I think we should change that by creating spaces that are unapologetically women. I liked there was a movement that was called Black Girls Only or something. It was in Bram. It was a concert that was like only for black girls. Black girls only, I think, where we had female performers, abantu bazena, abantwana bamantombazana, like it was beautiful. So izinto ezinjalo are empowering to other women to say, yeah, man, that's science. For instance, my band is all female.
Wow.
Yes.
That is intentional.
I'm just now looking for a female sound engineer. I make sure my lighting is a lady. You know, so it is important for us women to see ourselves like that first, because inkinga ukuthi inathi ukuthi siyabelieve lamanga lawa longo aspreadwa ngabantu besifazane. So So spaces like that, bees on the couch. I know there is. It's just that it slipped my mind right now. There are so many spaces that have been created. Ta invited me to her new establishment, Tandis. Yes, King Ta has opened a space where you can record and you can do rehearsals and what and what. So penetrating our spaces like that and being out there and opening it up for women. That will inspire abokulu to say, nami mos, I can start fixing cars with my friends and make it a thing.
I'm imagining a young gent
Yeah.
at your high school going to a 3 female group and saying, Shota me, and you saying, hey,
A school nabafana. I don't know how many gents came to me and say, I'm doing this. No, honey, I work with women. I love your work, but I work with women. So I'm very unapologetic about that.
I'm sad that we've been infiltrated by certain elements externally, because even today it seems as if black men as well are part of the gatekeeping, and I feel like they were colonized, to be honest. Because when you study the history, women were never asked to be anything. They were.
Yes.
And we would coexist and win together. And today there's
What do you think?
there's that
What do you think
division.
stopped that? What do you think changed?
You're asking me?
Yes. Am I not allowed to ask questions?
Oh no, we can answer. Yeah.
What do you think? Where do you think it went wrong?
There's a lot of things that went wrong, and normally we speak about the physical conquest, where we were conquered physically. People had superior weapons, etc. But after doing that, they created systems where then they started the psychological aspect. And when you speak about platforms for women, you and a King Ta, for example, are going to be doing it through song. What about the people setting the education curriculum? What about the people that are running the religious institutions?
Yes.
What about and not running them with a person that has a vagina, but that is still using the exact same model. That's why I sometimes find it problematic when women celebrate female CEOs and whatever, when
Yes.
they behave in exactly the same way as, So I believe the people that dominated our ancestors physically then created the systems. And today, to what you were saying about women having accepted, this is who I am, I must look pretty so that the boys like me. And it's kind of funny because in the animal kingdom, the men have to dance
Yes.
for the women to be impressed.
Nepikoko.
Yes.
It's actually a man.
In the human aspect, we've almost made women have to dance for our attention, and women shouldn't have to do that. And similarly, nabantu abamnyama, male and female, shouldn't have to embrace ukuthi this is what it is.
Yeah.
We should be and exist and allow
It
to
re-
be great.
It reminds me of a video I watched on Facebook. I think TD Jakes was ordaining umntanakhe. I'm not too sure. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that's his daughter.
Yes,
Yeah.
the comments
I saw the
were
comments.
coming from women to say, "No, girl, you can't take up that position. It's not a position that is taken by women. Like akumelanga ube ulide isonto. That's not your job." And I'm like, what is happening? It goes back to even religion. There's so many even culture, nesintu. So the loboling, there's a lot of things that need to be stripped down and just discussed nicely in a table to say this is not working for us. I think that's the problem, Guti. We're not confronting ours. I challenged my grandmothers. I think it was the day where I was supposed to be here. I was speaking to your producer and I was like,
Yes, they told us.
so I noticed something. Abo Makoti, bahlele emva komnyango. Right? That's where they need to sit. And then maglechiti, and then they basuguma, prepare, and then they go and sit down. And I went to them like, why are you sitting here and not sitting there by, Actually, no. Umakoti uhlala emva komnyango. I'm like, no. And then I went to my grandmothers. I'm like, what's the concept? What is the reason?
Yes, let's go to the principle of why is this done.
Guys, my mom is wise. Wait, king. My mom.
Wisdom.
My mom
Critical
should have
wisdom.
been named Wisdom. Ngithi even this thing yokubiza abantu ngabo Makoti. Do you know what the word Makoti is used on all South African languages? What umakoti ngu Mark on Stee. Mark on Stee. And the way amaXhosa wives dress, bayibiza la uniform yabo yetyali, black duke and shweshwe, bayibiza majeremane, which was a German uniform for helpers who used to bring tea to the men and used to serve the men and serve the families. I'm like, so why is that taken to a Xhosa culture? Why must a Xhosa
Culture.
Thank you.
It's called our culture. And it's
Our
not.
culture, and it's not our culture. It's not even for us to even utter ukuthi ngama German. German is Germany, and it's a German concept that we forced into our own culture, and use the word mark on stee to call our bride, our sister who is married by our ochadwe ngubhuti wethu, and we say to her mark on steer, like.
What does that mean? Mark on steer?
Make us tea in Afrikaans.
Oh, it's Afrikaans for
That's
make
where the
us
word
tea.
Makoti comes
How
from.
crazy
That's
is
what my
that?
mom told me. And then few days later, I actually got a screenshot
crazy is
that
that?
actually says that. And I'm sending it to my mom. But I told you this. That's what it means.
The one thing I fully agree with is this thing that we need to break down what we call culture and find the concepts, because
Yes.
we've become very lost. And like I said about being infiltrated, all of a sudden your leaders, your kings, your chiefs are the ones that are gatekeeping, are custodians of the same stuff that people don't even understand.
Yebo.
The second thing that I'm going to say is this, and this one normally doesn't go down well.
Wow.
We are the ones that they've been waiting for. And it's going to require some of us to supposedly rebel
To
and
die.
be disrespectful and ukufa,
Togos.
and fight our gogos and our mkhulus, because they themselves were defeated.
Yes.
And they're going to require us to rise up and school them
Togos.
and liberate them in ways that they could not maybe liberate themselves.
Yes.
Um,
Yo. Togos.
It's not something that is comfortable and common, but it's something that I've said even in politics, that if young people really want to lead this country, they will have to, in inverted commas, defeat the elders who were defeated by other people, and we must come with our own agenda, which will allow us to win.
Just like the students, the fees must fall. Lesbians, boshiwe. You know, they had to be imprisoned for just the idea to be heard, not to be solved, just to be heard. Someone has to die. Someone has to take the fall in order for that address to be actually listened to. I think our leaders have a problem listening. Siphathwa ngabantu abanganandlebe and abantu who are obsessed with their own voices. I think that is why that's what's blocking everything from happening. And you're right. Abantu each generation is a phambi has allowed themselves to say, sizothini. Kunjalo. If I know ukuthi bengithanda, I grew up a very inquisitive child. Bengithanda ukubuza ukhokho wami ukuthi, gogo, why kwenza so? Basibiza i-Y generation. Athi ayibuzwa.
Yes, I boost.
Ayibuzwa. Even my first gobela, what is injalo? Musuku kumbuza ngathi no, but no, asizosebenza kanjalo ke. I think that's what made my daughter just like because ngiyabuza ukuthi so lena le hayi mara why le iso like my gobela used to have a headache ngam because bona zange babuze kokugobela babo, but now we are a different generation of twasas that actually want to figure out ukuthi ukuze sifike la sifike kanjani. So unfortunately nabo abadala bethu they fall under that generation of see no evil, hear no evil. But unfortunately, they speak evil.
I believe our political leaders and other traditional and religious, I think they listen really well. I think they just do not listen to us. And they do not listen to the universe and nature. And that's why I'm saying we will have to fight them, because they themselves have become zombies. And they may not realize that they are in prison, and one day we will free them,
Yay.
and they might come back and thank us.
Yay.
So please take us home.
No, I'm just saying her mother's just taught me something amazing.
Yes.
I've just Googled Makoti
Yeah.
versus Mak on steer.
Yeah.
Very interesting article that I've just opened on xhosaroots.com.
Yes.
Guys, check it out, xhosaroots.com. Is it Makoti or Mak on steer? Very interesting article here, written by I want to give props to the person that's written this article. I didn't read all of it, but I'm looking forward to indulging further. I'm looking forward to also meeting your mom and learning from her.
Yo,
Sounds
my
like an
mom.
intelligent woman.
Kula, baba. Yo. Like, I always ask her, why don't you write a book, girl? Let's write a book. I said, yo, Mnasan. You could just
Come on, no lady.
and then she says the system of education lebeka funda ngayo, and she was very inquisitive. Ahlala namabhunu babutshela ukuthi okay, this is how we do things, but why are you doing it like this? I feel like my mom is a 2K. Like, yeah, my mom is a 2K.
Yeah.
Like you can't say this to my mom and just leave it. Mara wozala. I hambiga so.
Yeah.
Mina bengizamile yenza kaso.
Yeah.
That's my mom. She's
Yo.
amazing.
No, she's amazing.
She's amazing.
I'm sure she's watching.
Yes.
Siyabonga, ma. Siyabonga.
Just watch this, ma, and not go to the others.
No, go to all of them. Not compete.
No. Ezinye kho la ku DJ Smooth. Ngoba lezi ezinye.
What is
then
it?
lastly-
Peas on the couch.
So
Yes.
Peas on the couch.
We
yeah.
are-
Or lady must definitely go to Peas on the couch.
Yes.
The last one I'll throw in there is we always ask of books that you recommend for our audience.
Who?
3 books maybe.
I started reading during COVID.
Siyabonga.
Yes, that's why I get to COVID. It's twasisile, guys.
Yeah.
I started reading during COVID, and I realized ukuthi I like abo hlomu kanje. You know, I'm that girl. My chick flick.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been reading a lot Guhlomu series. So I think if you're a chick flick girl like me, you can go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the author's name, unless if you remember it.
Tutu Busani, yes. Tutu Busani Dube. I like how she writes, and I think the content ngendlela abhala ngayo is so relatable, you know, and for a person who hasn't read much asakula and actually read that for the first time, it actually made me interested in reading others. I just bought the Will book as well, Leaga Will Smith. I'm getting on it.
Nice.
I'm getting on it soon. So I am just opening myself up to reading more as
Nice.
well. Yeah.
And thank you for your honesty
Thank
to
you.
even say that you just started reading.
Sana, my mom's name is Truth as well.
And I like that.
So I always speak truth. So angengithi ngidipu ngiyafunda Steve Biko right to like I just started reading now, guys. Ngiyiyo. And ubaba mbeka busy kumele sifind out.
Oh, we love you. Thank
I
you
love
so
you too.
much.
Thank you.
How beautiful is this pen?
Buhle, I just want to say, this has been an emotional and spiritual experience for me. I'm so glad we got to sit today and speak about some of the things that have been haunting me about the group that you're a part of. And also just to remind you, as people that have been following the group, that we're constantly watching you guys. We're actually emotionally invested.
Hey,
in all
be emotionally invested, basically by entitled. That's the problem about South Africans. We are so entitled to other people's lives. But that's another story for another day.
But thank you for the education. There's
you.
been a lot of education here.
I also learned.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I feel blessed.
Yeah, man. Same here.
Siswat.
I'm looking forward to hearing more music from her.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing her growth and just the role that she still has to play for a lot of the, South African youth.
Yeah.
I think our passion is similar. We
Togos.
love young people.
Togos.
And the fact that she's got that beautiful daughter
Mama
over
was so
there.
blessed. She's gonna be like, my mom. My mom was always. So inspiring.
We've got daughters. We both got. I got a daughter as well.
Togos.
So congratulations.
Siyabonga,
And
Bhutam.
thank you so much. And nabadala siyabonga. Thokozani.
Togos.
Thank you.
This is the Hustler's Corner.